Dear colleagues, hello. I'm Professor Dr. Çiğdem Polatoğlu from Yıldız Technical University, Faculty of Architecture, Department of Architecture, Istanbul. Before starting, I want to wish you all healthy days in these circumstances. Our study is a sum up of a design series that we conducted in Yıldız Technical University in our faculty with our diploma project students. As we know, the primary elements of architecture was and still form, function, and technology, but due to the changes in 1970s, we add economy and ecological dimension to this. And now, in this time, again, these primary elements evaluated, and we add social justice and climate changes. But especially within these circumstances, today we are talking about health issues in the society. So we could say that with design in our present time, design should and could promote social, political, economic, and ecological changes to shape our future. In this scope, our study was the main aim of our study. We did some trials on design approach for historical and cultural sustainability. And it is focused on three main items: design in society, focus on people, and focus on place. And these were we shaped them around the goals, and our primary goal was bringing local to fore against the global. And the sub-goals, we could say that we tried to understand that different places and different people require different planning, design, and thinking processes, approaches. And it is, we try to discover the potential and the possibility of improving people's life through design. And we try to raise awareness on place quality. And as a result, we also try to create and question how we achieve the comprehensive design criteria. As I said in the beginning, we achieved this study in 3 semesters as a graduate project and thesis in Yıldız Technical University. We set a frame for our study, how we could revitalize the urban places, and we had some main concepts related with the public life quality. Then we have the planning tools and the design. In design, we had the codes. Then we have the scale and outcomes and representation tools. In this process, the representation tools, we used overlapping, mapping, but the most important thing is the interpretation. Let me explain from the site selection, because they are all related with our goals. Well, as I mentioned, we have the codes. The first one was the city, then place, context, and scenario. So in the forthcoming slides, I'm not going to show you a finished, fully rendered project, but we will talk about the design thinking and the scenario, the program, how our students perceive the place, how do they read the place, how do they interpret the place according to the public, according to the needs of the people. So we will sum up it and we will finish it by the building program. And here the second thing was I mentioned is the scale. So from beginning the urban scale planning, we will go through to architectural design, and there is the intersection was urban design and replanning states. But in this study, we also have some evaluation criteria. We set them to evaluate all the projects. So these were also the things that our students have to follow and obey. Well, we have 5 main headings about the climate, ecological side, and then the context, then mobility, function, and the program. Our sites was chosen from the Aegean coast of the Turkey, 3 semi-scaled, let me say, cities of Turkey. 2 are the cities in that, urban planning level. Then the other one from Balıkesir, Ayvalık, is a county, not a city, a part of the city. We will start with the first one, Ayvalık, and there is in the codes, there is the function of the city or the county. From Ayvalık, we studied in brownfield, in an industrial heritage, and it was our first study beginning in 2017. And for each of our cases has their special question. And in Ayvalık, our question was, how can historical and cultural sustainability be achieved through changing public policies? Well, before going deeply to our study areas, let me talk a little bit about Ayvalık, because it is related with this question. Ayvalık is a small-scale county in Balıkesir, facing to Aegean city, and it has 64,000 population, but it has a very strong history coming from Greeks, from other civilizations. It has agriculture, especially olive, soap factories, and the other thing is about industrial heritage. Ayvalık is in the list of UNESCO Industrial Heritage List. From this point of view, the city is improving herself, and there is some leftover spaces, empty spaces, or needs new functions or changing functions. In this stage, we have 2 places facing to the Aegean Sea, Old Olive Factory Place, and another one was the previous coach station area. From this point, I want to say something about some more detail about our study. Each study has 3 stages. The first one was about the preliminary thoughts, and the second 2 was more keening on the place, creating some design ideas, led the students to the programming. And the final stage, we will discuss the results of these 2 stages. Well, in the first 2, the students asked to read the plays, whatever tool they want. They began with the history or the statistical data or the living forms in the history, in the past and present, and for the future forecasting also they study how they could achieve what's going on the environment. So when we sum up the program requirements or program proposals, there was 3 main groups on alternative tourism, education, and culture. Then in the second stage, the students we grouped their ideas on our 5 evaluation criteria: climate, context, and history, mobility and coastal road, function, and program. Well, when we check each site has its own characteristics shaping this criteria. And at the final process, it is a little bit more leading to design. We discussed not questions and or lacking points in the design proposals, and I will give these results at the end of each study in the last slide. Our second project was in Çanakkale. It was again a brownfield industrial heritage area. Previously there was a cognac factory, but there is only a chimney left in the area. The most important thing is, as you see in right bottom, there is a label that it says all of this area belongs to the people of Çanakkale. as our relations with the municipality, we learned that people, the public, they bought the area from the municipality because they want to protect this very precious area on the Dardanelles, and they want a public welfare and new function in this area. So, because of the characteristics of the site, in this area, our students began from the urban scale. Because this area, although it is an old factory area, it is away from the existing center of the Çanakkale. It's a new center. There is a new shopping mall. It is very close to the new airport area. So they first studied the accessibility and organized the functions in this new area. So culture, education, and social facilities arise to propose for this area. And again, in the second phase, we evaluate, we discuss every proposal in our 5 evaluation criteria. And as we did before, we again questioned the lacking points in the design proposals. The last one was we went where we sought of the Aegean coast, and now we are in a city again. It's a downtown and new center. We had 2 areas. Here was the question was how to ensure historical and cultural sustainability in urban life, where agricultural activity is still relevant. So as you see, our 3 sites has different characteristics. They need special care, and they need have different things to offer to their public. In Muğla, we had 2 centers. One is downtown, and the other one is the new center. Above you will see the downtown. It is a bus station area, and it moved to the new center. And in its extension, there is a stream bed and also current marketplace and all the historical context. And in the south part of the city center, there is the new area. The new area is hosting the new bus station area, but as in our conversations with the municipality, they were going to move the bus station again because they thought that it is very, very in the border of the agricultural area and it is found insufficient. And let me say that about something more about the Muğla. Muğla is a city, but it has some different characteristics from the other cities. The center of the city is a little bit left in the shadows of its districts like Bodrum, Marmaris, Fethiye, Dalaman, which are the world-famous tourism centers. In Muğla, the students have chance to study in 2 areas. They have to choose one, and according to their reading of the place, their analysis, their conversation with the public, culture, education, and alternative tourism arise. There were lots of agricultural facilities, some programs around agricultural facilities, but they were mostly proposed in the second area because it is in the border of the agricultural sites. And then in the second tour, we again evaluate projects according to our 5 design criteria. And in the final, we question the lacking points in their design. Well, as a conclusion, I want to talk about our findings, both in our goals, achieving how we achieved our goals or not, or how if we reach a sufficient level in our findings, and also about each 3 project series, how they concluded. Well, firstly, we see that they do have a great awareness about place and the locality, but there was the great problem was maybe they were having education in Istanbul. Metropolitan scale is still effective in their minds. And related with this, difficulty in making decisions on urban scale also was a challenge. And they had difficulties in separating and using private, semi-private and public space. This three scale was really difficult for them to achieve. And there were also indecision in open space, inability to grasp the urban scale. So with related, when we tie with these, the building programs were considered detailedly, and they do all offer successfully new living spaces, but however the spatial response of functions in the programs were problematic. Our final goal was questioning if these projects enough to evaluate the comprehensive design criteria. Well, the first tour was about team, reading, mapping, decision, developing program, and these were lead to the criteria of design thinking. And the second tour was about the response of every thought about design. So we found that this was related to the criteria with structural issues plus design thinking criteria. And finally, final evaluation was about questioning the comprehensive design criteria. So all the criteria was in hand, and every project tried to somehow respond these criteria. Dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. If you need any more further information, you could anytime contact us. Thank you.